Today, I'm going to be sharing the secret of getting a nice white skull. First thing off is we need to prep this because what I really want to do is make sure this is the most protected as I can from the bleach. So all I'm doing is taping off the antlers because I don't want to bleach them. I want them to stay a nice natural color they are. So take a little time to protect your antlers, because once you bleach stuff, you're not really going back. You can cheat it by using wood stain. I actually have another video about using wood stain to revitalize antlers, but that's really for old white antlers that you want to bring back to life, not fresh ones like this. Like, just take the time, protect them, okay? So once we got the base of our antlers taped off, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying a peroxide. We got our skull that was all boiled, pressure washed, and fully dried. It's not wet at all, fully dried for a couple days. So we're going to tape off the base of our antlers, get everything protected, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting peroxide on the skull to whiten it up. The longer you leave the peroxide on it, the brighter white it's going to be. I prefer more of a bone look to it, so I only leave it on for 12 to 18 hours or so. So what we're going to be using is this Salon peroxide. 50 makes this go really fast. 12 hours on the skull gives me about the results I want. With some bleach powder, whitening powder, to really boost it. Now this is going to turn that skull bright white if you leave it on there long. But really what's this doing is it's speeding up the process even more. So I mix that with the peroxide and we liberally paint the entire skull with it, and then we wrap it in plastic wrap. That's the critical part because we don't want it to dry out. So I'm going to wrap the skull in plastic wrap and we're going to leave it sit overnight and it'll be good to go. So I'm going to lay down plastic wrap. So I'm actually going to bring this right over the edge of my table. Stick to my table a little bit. Do one more little piece, just for insurance. A little more. It's not going to harm anything. Well, we're not bleaching anything, it's just peroxide. Got our gloves. Alright, so I got just a little bit left of this bottle. Use that up. Now, you want to have more than not enough. You can't really overdo it during the application process. What you can overdo is leaving it on there too long. So you might as well have more than not enough. Nice pile of peroxide. We're going to add a little of this. That was a lot. Probably like a quarter scoop, third of a scoop. And mix this up good. Now this is kind of the secret. Like, people always ask, how do you get it so white and look so clean, and how do you do it so fast? And this is it. I'm giving you guys the secret right here, right now. We are going to get everywhere in here. I like to start with really just kind of jamming it down inside. And no worries about how are you going to get this out after the fact. I'm just going to wash it. This just all washes off. This was the deer we skinned the other night on stream. I'll take you all along my process here and divulge all my secrets to making a beautiful looking European mount. So y'all can try it yourself. Tell your friends to try it, or yell at your taxidermist that they're skipping a step, or tell me that I'm doing it completely wrong. You know, all that's a valid response to this stuff. Okay. Now remember too, like, careful with your clothing when you're doing this. you know, there's a good chance this is going to land on your shirt. You're going to get a nice spot. I got my nice Moultrie Mobile shirt on here that I'm risking. Now, if you drop some peroxide on your plastic wrap down there, awesome. It's just going to get wrapped up on your skull. That's why we do this over the material I'm going to wrap the skull with anyway. Less to clean up, and none goes to waste. It's not going to hurt to get extra in places. Use it up, glob it on there. Plus, then the yellowing from grease, if there is any grease too, won't seep through as easily through cracks in the skull. I got everything covered. Now I'm just kind of going back through and just globbing it on any places that seem like it could be a little lighter than others, just to use it up. Because when you press that plastic wrap on there too, it's obviously going to shift some of it around, move some of it around. So the more consistent you can make this, the better it's going to turn out, because then it's a nice even finish. Now, if you're not wanting to do this step, I guess you could technically do like a mixture with some of this peroxide in a water boil and let it kind of, not a boil, but like a water, and just let it sit in the water. I don't like that because I can't control it as much. The bases of my antlers could get exposed, things like that. All right, that is, without dripping any, very well coated in the peroxide. Lay that here on my plastic wrap. We're gonna just wrap it up. Again, try not to get it on your antlers. Usually like to do another layer over the whole thing as well sealed. Because if you can keep it fairly airtight, that's gonna stay moist inside there, which means this is going to go quicker. If it dries, it's probably going to have to sit there a while. So I'm using masking tape too, and just peels right off. All right, so here's the real, not the real secret, but another tip is peroxide activates and works the best when it's warm and or in light. That's why you see a lot of peroxide bottles in a dark bottle. It's different when it's in this gel form, but the actual peroxide itself works very good with light. That's why you also see salons always put those caps on ladies and bleaching their hair and doing stuff like that. Little like UV caps, infrared caps, putting some light down on it. So what I do to help the process along, speed up a little bit, is I have a lamp and I have a reptile basking bulb in it. You can use like a chicken bulb too, but I have a reptile basking bulb. So it's a lot of warmth plus some UV light. And I put that just hovered right above the skull, 12 to 18 inches, maybe 2 feet. And I leave that overnight because this will sit in my basement where it is a little cool. And it's sitting overnight in the dark. So I put that light on there, plus the warmth, helps activate that peroxide and will whiten this skull beautifully overnight. So after about 12 hours is about my perfect time frame for how I like it to be that nice bone color. We could take this all off, put it right in the sink and hose it all off, clean it all off. Maybe get in there with an old toothbrush, get everything out, get it all cleaned, and then let it air dry. Let it air dry for like 2 days. Make sure it is the color that you want. If you want to whiten it up a little bit more, you can go through this process again, leave it for a few more hours. If it is the whiteness that you want after it's dried for a few days, then you can either be done or you can seal it. I like to seal it. And what I do with that is I just hang the skull and I coat the skull in a matte clear coat. The matte clear coat doesn't make anything shiny, doesn't take away from the natural look, but it seals everything in helps discoloration, yellow discoloration, and it even helps the brittle bone hold together better. Bone gets brittle as it dries, and as you boil it, things like that, doing that little bit of extra with that sealant on it makes this last longer, and it just looks more finished, in my opinion, for the person getting it. So we're gonna let this sit, and we'll come back to it in the morning and clean it up, and it'll be about done.